Can you describe what services your child receives through early intervention?
Yes, my son, he receives speech therapy, and then he also receives developmental therapy.
And do you do live video visits for both of those therapies?
We've been doing the live videos for speech since I want to say around March when
Okay.
he started.
Mhm.
And we had done the developmental up until through live videos up until August. We had stopped for a while because we had to change therapists because we had to change our times. And so he just is starting that next week again.
Okay.
But we were doing it prior for a few months with the live videos.
Nice. And was his evaluation through live video visits, or were you able to do it in person?
His evaluation we had gotten done before the shutdowns and everything. But by the time we had figured out times and therapists, that's when they were like, well, it's all online now. I'm like, okay.
Oh, what a crazy time period.
Yeah.
So how did you decide to choose live video visits instead of like phone consultations or even in-person visits when they were offered?
Well, by the time we had gotten all the teachers and our therapist and sessions set up, they weren't doing any in person at the time because this was right when everything shut down. So we didn't have the option of that.
Mm-hmm.
But as far as phone conversations go with the speech, they really wanted to see his mouth and kind of be able to have him see their mouths and how they're sounding stuff out and stuff like that.
Sure.
So the video just would be 10 million times easier than just talking on a phone. And he's 2. So getting him to hold a phone and not see anything doesn't last very long. So,
fair enough. Yeah.
So the video also holds their attention longer.
Yeah, that makes sense. And what do you like about the live video visits?
I like it a lot actually because they are able to like share their screen so they can do like online stuff. Like she'll have like little online games or a book, or like he really likes this like Mr. Potato Head that she'll like put on for him.
Mm-hmm.
The interaction of like we're playing with a toy even though they're not in person together doing it. So even if I don't have a specific toy that normally they would bring like to your house, he still gets that, oh, well, she's bringing me toys. We're playing with toys, even though it's just over the screen. And then she's also able to, in my opinion, kind of feed his interest a little bit more than maybe even in person. Like if he's getting bored with these toys or this activity, well, I can switch it to this website real quick. Okay. Versus if we're in person, she'd be like, well, my bag's only so big. I can't bring that many toys, kid. More to work with than even in person would sometimes.
Nice. That's great. And do you find anything challenging about it?
Yeah. Sometimes he's not so willing to sit there in front of the screen. He'll try to like run off and play and not carry it with him. Okay. But he's gotten used to it because he's been doing it for so long now that he sits perfectly fine for the whole time. And if he's starting to get antsy, they'll just like, we can end it. We'll do it again next week anyways. But at first it was a little challenging getting him to sit. But I would say after like 4 sessions or so, he was pretty used to sitting there talking. And they engage him and hold his interest pretty well. So he'll sit for like a good 45 minutes before he starts being like, they hold their interest pretty well. There's not a lot of like, we're just sitting waiting or anything like that.
That's good. And between the speech therapy and the developmental therapy, is there one type of therapy that seems easier to do with the live video visits?
Personally, for us at least, the speech I feel like is easier because it's more like engaging in conversations and talking, and we're playing this, you say this, I'm saying, and responding back and forth. And with the developmental, when we were doing it originally, when we had started doing it, we were doing the live. I was at home with him, and now he's in daycare. So now he does it at his daycare with their teachers. So when we're at home, we get a little bit more flexibility. Like I could sit there and they're like, get this for him, have him try to do this with you. Or like one of the activities was like, he would sit on a blanket and I would drag him down the hallway, and then his little sister. So then we put his sister on it. He would try to drag. Oh, nice. And it was fun, but that's not something he can do at daycare. Yeah. So that one's a little bit more challenging. With
trial and error.
It is.
Yeah, I can understand that. Let's see. Oh, so before you started the live video visits, like, what information did you get about what this was going to look like?
It was basically like, let's see how it works. And it worked fine. So we stuck with it. But yeah, at first, I think everyone was kind of like, let's try this out.
Yeah. Well,
Gotta
especially
try something.
you started right in March, and that's when like
Yeah,
this started. Yeah. So
yeah,
you
I
have to
started like
be,
right in the beginning. So she's like, okay, so I've only been doing this for like 2 sessions
yeah.
myself. So, but it worked pretty smoothly even from the beginning. They're like, you know what, let's just see how long he'll sit for.
Mhm.
And we'll try to work our way as we get more and more sessions done. And hopefully sits longer and longer. At first, like I said, he only sat for like maybe like 15 minutes. And then I was like chasing around my house.
Yeah.
But now it's like he'll sometimes do a whole hour. And I'm like, okay.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So it's going better. But yeah, at first it was a lot of trial and error and what's gonna hold his attention for longer and stuff like that.
Yeah. And do you guys, is there like preparation for the live video visits, like planning that goes into it, or?
No, it's yeah, I get emailed a Zoom link in the morning, like a few hours before it starts.
Okay.
So then all I have to do is click the link and he's ready to go.
Nice. That's great.
Yeah, super easy, super easy.
Yeah, well, good. I'm really glad to hear that. Those are pretty much all of my questions.